I'm in one of the most premier luxury waterfront communities in Lake Country, British Columbia. And in this video, I'm gonna teach you everything there is to know about living in Kelowna's best neighboring town. Lake Country is a spectacular town and it's surrounded by lakes, and it's a hidden gem to those unfamiliar with the area. I'm gonna go over everything from housing, the different communities, the lakes, the beaches, and the best spots to drink wine. And you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video because I'm gonna go over two of the most popular premier communities in not just Lake Country, but the entire central Okanagan. I got one of them right behind me right now, and if you like luxury lake waterfront views, then you're gonna wanna stick around to see this. So without further ado, let's take a look at the whole map of the area. So here is Lake Country. Now, Lake Country is comprised of, originally it was comprised of 4 separate towns, and then they were joined up, I think in 1995. They were kind of amalgamated and turned into what is now known as Lake Country. So originally there was Cars Landing, which and I'm not exactly precise on all these areas to the T, but the general area is up here was Cars Landing, this area over here, and then we had Oyama, which was the northeast section. So Oyama, it was a little bit over here, covered this section. Down here was Winfield area, and then this was Okanagan Center. So you had Cars Landing in the northwest, Oyama in the northeast, southwest was Okanagan Center, and southeast was what is now known as Winfield. So Lake Country is about population. I think the latest stat I saw was around 15,000 people. And I mean, I think it's pretty understandable why they call it Lake Country. As you can see, look at this area. And it's incredibly beautiful. This is what I love about it. You have on the western side of Lake Country, you have Lake Okanagan, which, I mean, that doesn't even do it justice. Let's look at this from a little more expanded view. Lake Okanagan is the biggest of the 3 lakes, 351 kilometers squared with a crazy depth of 232 meters. It's one of the deepest lakes. I don't know if it's in Canada. I remember hearing that somewhere, but you can see tip of Vernon stretches all the way down to Penticton, the biggest of the 3. This is Ellison Lake here. It's not a part of this, but I mean, Ellison Lake does hit the back of Winfield, and that's where you get some of the mobile home parks that are on the water. And then you have Woods Lake right here. Now, Woods Lake is the smallest out of the 3, 9 kilometers squared, max depths of 35 meters. I'm not sure if you actually want to know these exact stats, but it's kind of fun to know, and especially, you know, if you're a big boater, you're a fisher, and you want to know what's the best lake. I don't know what the best lake for fishing is. I know you can get some crazy sturgeon in Lake Okanagan, so that would be pretty unbelievable. And then my personal favorite, I think one of the most beautiful lakes that I've seen, not just in the Okanagan, it's incredible, Kalamalka Lake. It's it's the in-between, 25 kilometers squared, 142 meters deep at its deepest point, and it runs along the east side of Lake Country, just mostly in the Oyama area, and it stretches all the way to Vernon. You get some really nice beaches actually on the Vernon side of things, but Kalamalka Lake is incredible. So yeah, you have the 4 separate towns that make a part of Lake Country. You have the lake surrounding it. You have the highway that runs, Highway 97 runs straight through from Highway number 1. Highway number 1 turns off at Sycamoose. This is where it turns off, goes all the way down through Armstrong, Enderby, comes through Vernon, and this is where you really enter the Okanagan Valley in here, and it drives right through Lake Country on its way to Kelowna. You are 21 minutes from Lake Country to Vernon, short jaunt, and 37 minutes to downtown Kelowna, and a lot quicker if you're going to places like Lake Country to the airport, super quick. Lake Country to the university area, also very fast. It's right across from there. So you have good access to the major cities that surround Lake Country, but again, Lake Country itself is self-sustainable. You have this main road, Okanagan Center Road, that runs along the western part of Lake Country right along Lake Okanagan. That eventually turns into Carr's Landing, and you can take Carr's Landing all the way to, you pass the Predator Ridge Resort and Sparkling Hills, this beautiful area. If you're unfamiliar with Sparkling Hills and Predator Ridge Golf Course, it's very, very infamous with our region. It's this incredible spa that's the peak of luxury. The guy who invented Swarovski crystals created this resort, and they have all these spas, like 10 different spas, steam rooms, dry saunas. It's incredible. Highly recommend checking that out. But you follow that Carr's Landing, you can get into the back end of Vernon by Okanagan Landing, that neighborhood. And yeah, so Highway 97 runs through it. Then you have Okanagan Center as the other main road, and all along this area right here, this is where you're going to see wineries like Grey Monk Winery, Ex Nihilo, Arrowleaf Cellars off of Okanagan Center Road. This is where you get Peak Cellars and O'Rourke's, which is awesome wines, awesome food. I would check that out. And Intrigue Wines, a couple of my favorites right here off the immediate wine trail, but you have a ton of wineries all through here that I highly recommend checking out. Sometimes you don't feel like going down south, or you're bogged down with how busy West Kelowna's wine trail or even Kelowna gets. Sneak away to Lake Country. I find it's not as busy for the most part, and there's some fantastic wineries and some really good food that I recommend checking out. Then on the eastern side of Wood Lake, you have Oyama Road that joins back up, and it goes to it joins back up with the Pelham Walsh Parkway. And this is a beautiful parkway that runs along Wood Lake. It's pretty scenic. It connects back up with the highway here, and you'll see some images of that, and it just hits the bottom of Kalamalka Lake. You have this tiny little strip of land that separates Wood Lake and Kalamalka. And then you also have the rail trail you'll see running along Woods Lake. And the rail trail, I can't remember exactly how far it goes. I know it goes all the way up to Vernon, but it goes down through here, connects with Kelowna, right to Kelowna's downtown. I know that. So you can, if you're feeling adventurous, you want to hop on your bike and have a extremely long bike ride all the way from Kelowna up into Lake Country. You can take it to Vernon if you want. You can absolutely do that. In terms of things like beaches and that, Lake Country does have some good beaches. You know, they have beaches along Kalamalka and Wood Lake, and they have a few. Pixie Beach, I'm trying to find out exactly. Oh, there it is. Pixie Beach on Lake Okanagan. None of the beaches I find are as nice as Kelowna's, and actually Vernon has some nice beaches too on Kalamalka. Overall, some great water access points. The lakes are great to swim in. I just don't find their beaches as nice as Kelowna's per se. And then in terms of schooling, you have it's obviously a smaller place, so you don't have a ton of schools. You have 3 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and 1 secondary school, and you're going to be doing all your post-secondary school at the University of British Columbia or Okanagan College down in the downtown. But I've heard the schools are great in Lake Country. You don't have many options, so you're there, you kind of got to stick with whatever catchment you're in. And that's really kind of the notable things about Lake Country. Again, it's sweet, it's simple, it's serene. It's a fantastic place. We're going to be hitting a couple of the premier communities, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you stick to the end of the video. And if you're liking this, you're liking the information I'm providing, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get more of this. But let's jump to downtown. I call it downtown. Lake Country doesn't have, you know, some big downtown like Kelowna, but let's jump right into it and I'll meet you guys down there. All right, so now I'm in what you would call, I guess, the downtown area of Lake Country, which, you know, it's not like downtown Vernon, Kelowna, Penticton. There is not too much in terms of amenities, but you're not really coming to Lake Country because you want to be surrounded by amenities. You want to be here because it's tranquil, it's peaceful, and it's extremely beautiful. But having said that, we have grocery stores here, we have gas bars, we have coffee shops, we have restaurants. So essentially there is everything you need to not have to be running into Kelowna all the time. Because you know what? you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to move somewhere and then be dependent onto the city next door. Of course, if you're going to go do a huge shop, you want to run into Costco, you have that in less than 20 minutes. Lake Country is nice. It's close to the airports. It's close to all the amenities of Kelowna, while being far enough out that you're not burdened down by the busy population and the summer craziness that happens in Kelowna. And in terms of housing in Lake Country as a whole, you know what? It's not like some of the smaller towns around Kelowna, like Peachland and Summerlin, where you're going to get a little more bang for your buck. Your money's going to stretch a little further. You know, those are very quiet, sleepy towns. And Lake Country does have some of that, but in terms of prices, you can almost consider Lake Country as like a large suburb of Kelowna, because the prices here have definitely gone up dramatically and pretty much indistinguishable from Kelowna. Like right now, for a single family home, the average list price is around 1.2 million and the average sold price is around 1 million. So you're not essentially moving to Lake Country because you want to save a bunch of money. You're going to be moving here because you don't really want to be in the hustle and bustle of Kelowna. You don't want to be that close to the city. You want to be out enough that it feels more like you're living in a town. And plus, I mean, Lake Country has it all. It's got the lakes, it's got the wineries, it has the amenities that you need, it has the access to nature. So it does have all the things you need. And you know what? All these towns around here, Kelowna, its different neighborhoods, are also incredibly unique. So if you need help finding a place that is going to fit your lifestyle, because that's essentially what you're choosing. You're not so much looking what house is going to be the best for you. Obviously, when you get down to it, that's what you're going to be looking at, but you're looking which area or which place is going to fit your lifestyle the most appropriately. And being a relocation specialist, that's what I do. I help people who are moving here, or even people who are living here, find places that are going to fit their lifestyle the best, and also show them the places that absolutely are not going to work for them. So in order to do that, in order to figure that out, you got to reach out to me. Call, text, email, anytime. Let me simplify your move here and find you the perfect place. Now, as promised, let's go to the two premier communities of Lake Country and show you exactly what they're all about. All right, and the first community we're going to be dropping on you guys is going to be the premier community of the Lakes here in Lake Country. So the Lakes is a beautiful development on the western side of Wood Lake with over 1,300 residents situated here, and this is a development that is 13 years in the making. And I'm sure by the shots of some of these footage that you guys are seeing right now, you can understand why. This is one of the bigger developments I've ever seen, especially in our area. It's huge. It took a lot of time, and you know what? It has some, I say this in almost every video, but this area and this development truly does have something for everyone, from condos, townhouses, bare land strata 55 plus communities, and single family home, all just in this one small community. Now, since this is a premier community, you can expect to pay a pretty penny for certain things. I mean, listen, there are condos in anywhere from the $400,000 to $600,000 range. Townhouses generally in the $600,000 to $800,000 range. The 55 plus bare land strata seems to be in that $800,000, $900,000 range. And for a single family home, I mean, they're very large homes, average square footage around 3,000. You can expect to pay around 1.1 million. A lot of these custom builds seem to be anywhere from 2006 to 2016. And there are some incredible builds, and you know what? You get some incredible views off some of these homes as well. This is a little different from the next community we're going to take a look at, because this is situated right in Lake Country. You have close access to all the amenities. You have the spectacular views, and they've made this area so there's not much of a reason to leave. They have parks, schools. You shoot down the hill if you need to get any groceries, or you need to go to a restaurant, you need to go to the pharmacy, and it is very self-sustaining. This is a very popular area, especially if you're looking to buy real estate. So when places go up here, they generally don't sit too long on the market. So if you want more information on a place like this, make sure you reach out to me. We can kind of get you situated in what area of the Lakes is best for you and what exactly you're going to get into, because like I said, there are a ton of options. But now, without further ado, let's go to my favorite community in all of Lake Country. Let's check it out. And here we are, my favorite luxury premier community in all of Lake Country, and again, the entire central Okanagan. We are at Lakestone. Now, Lakestone is broken up into 3 separate communities: Waterside, the Benchlands, and the Highlands North. Now, this area is all about premier luxury living. It's kind of hidden away, tucked, nestled into lake country. It's not that close to any external amenities like restaurants, grocery shopping, but honestly, we're 15 to 20 minutes away from all of that. But you're not living here for that. You're living here for peaceful tranquility, luxury waterfront views, and a spectacular self-run community with tons of recreational amenities, from their 2 clubs that they have, their tennis courts, and their clubs are packed with spa, hot tub, pool, barbecue area, an entire fitness center, everything you literally need to feel like you're on a permanent vacation. Now, you can tell just by looking at some of this B-roll shot, but this is a high-end community. These are luxury homes and you're paying a pretty penny for these views. The median price at the time of this video for listing is just over 1.9 million, and for sold price is around 1.85. So it's not exactly cheap, but I'm going to do an entire video breaking down this community in much further detail so you can really understand what it's like to live here. This area is absolutely for someone obviously who has a bit of cash but wants to be a little out of society and doesn't feel like they're going to be bothered by anybody else. And once you come here, you'll realize that there's absolutely no reason to leave at any point unless you're going to run into town and grab some groceries, stock up on food and wine, and just enjoy your lifestyle here. So maybe the perfect spot for you is just lake country in general. Maybe you want to live in the lakes, maybe you have the money and you want that luxury lifestyle and these amazing views and live in Lakestone. If you want more information on any of these places, you got to reach out to me. Call me, text me, email me anytime. The contact information on the screen, in the description down below, and pinned in the comments. You really can't miss it. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to simplify your entire move as a relocation specialist. That's what I do. I'm going to find you the perfect home and place and area and lifestyle to live. In order to do that, you got to reach out. And maybe lake country wasn't kind of hitting your needs when you looked at the video. You got to check out my other videos, the full vlog tour of Kelowna, West Kelowna, and there's going to be more and more. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. My goal is to showcase this entire area, so when you're coming here, or even if you live here, you're going to find the perfect spot that's going to suit your lifestyle, and even more importantly, the areas that aren't going to work for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below. Again, my name is Boholij, your Okanagan real estate professional. This is my channel, Living in Kelowna BC, and I will catch you in the next video.